jump. I'm Christy Jenkins, known to the poetry world as Paradise. That's the name on the screen. I am also a poet. I am 43. I am a thriver of breast cancer, I like to say. And as Erin so eloquently mentioned, I try to find, there goes my son. Would you like to say hello? Oh, he said woohoo. That was for everybody here. But I try to find positive ways to uplift myself as well as the community. And this was one of the things that popped in my head. I will be honest with you. I didn't come to accepting myself the way that I am until I started getting biopsies. I've always wanted to cut my hair all the way down, but I didn't have the courage to do it until they told me that I might have breast cancer. And then when they got a little closer, I said to myself, well, I might as well chop my hair off now so I can see if I'm gonna like it. And so I did. But most of the times, some of you may have seen me if you hung out with Unite for Her before, or if you've been on any of the other Zooms, but you probably haven't seen me like this, right? Because I always have what I call my Beyonce. I'm gonna show you her, and then we'll get to that a little later. My son, you can come in. So this is my Beyonce. I got the pink mannequin just for us. And she's very long, but we'll get into how to style her and put her on and wear her in a few. But she's my go-to. I have many different wigs. The top of my walk-in closet is just hair, but I love it. So which goes into the first thing that I wanted to talk about, which is confidence and versatility. I believe that confidence starts within before it can be exuded on the outside. And I notice that a lot of times when we come here on the Zoom, we either have our cameras off, which is perfectly fine. But what happens in this Zoom era is that we're literally forced to look at ourselves. It's like a mirror projecting back at us. And surviving, thriving, struggling through breast cancer is enough. And one of the things that I found to be difficult is to look at myself in the mirror as I was going through the process. So I want to say that no matter what you go through, no matter the process, you are beautiful. That's the name of it, be you. No matter if you wear a wrap, no matter if you're wearing a wig, if you decide to step out in your all natural, the confidence starts within before it can even begin to exude on the outside. And I think that the fact that we're able to have wigs, hats, wraps, or just step out when we feel comfortable, that's the versatility that we'll have. But it's just getting used to doing it and getting used to seeing you in your newness. Be you and own it. So a lot of people are gonna make faces, as I'm sure most of us here know that already. It's not about them. I've learned that the hard way. It's about what you see and what you want. The other thing that I learned that for women, our hair is our crown. So for centuries, we've been told how to wear our hair, how we're supposed to talk, how we're supposed to walk, what we're supposed to wear. And I believe that when we take control of our crown, our visible crowns, then we have all the power that we need. So I want to start there, and I'll touch briefly on our crown and our chakra. I do believe in chakras. And just to let you know that the crown chakra is all about spiritual connection and transformation. And I'll pause there to say that thriving and fighting through cancer, any form of cancer, is definitely a transformation. So if we could be beautiful while doing it, why not, right? It also says that when your crown chakra is intact, it lifts and inspires you. It connects you to the divine. You might call this angelic energy. You may call it the source. You may call it the universe. You may refer to it as God, whatever floats your boat, as long as it's going to inspire, uplift, and connect you. So I'm going to get into the wraps first because we're going to have fun. And I do Zooms all day at work. So I want this to not be work, right? So I'm all for questions. I'll try to multitask with the chat as well, but I know Sue and Erin's going to help me. So if you have questions, just raise your hand. Don't raise your hand, dive in. However we want to run it, just so it's as comfortable as possible. The first thing I would do is wraps. So I have material hanging all over the place. And then I'm going to drop some links if I remember to do so at the same time. The only rule
Christy,
of
I can help you. I can help you with that too. If you have links and you want to share them, I can grab them and pop them in the chat for you also.
Oh, right. Thank you. I appreciate it. So then I can also tell you about different wraps. I love bold colors, as you can see, probably. Two things I'm going to share about wraps. The material is very important. So like me, I like stuff that has stretch to it, right? So then you can do a little bit more with it, as opposed to the other one that I will demonstrate. It's not that much stretch. And you can see it's a little wrinkled, but I like to iron them. And I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to do a quick run through of my wraps. This one, I usually wrap and I go for my front and I wrap it around. So normally we've seen each other and we're wrapped this way. And let the world see your eyebrows or not, or as much as your forehead as you would like. You guys heard it here first. I don't usually share this because it's traumatic for me. My nickname to all 5 of my sisters as I braid, right? Because that's what I'm doing. I'm braiding. So I tied it back and you take the 2 loose ends and you just twist it. So me untwisting it, bringing it around. Have your wrap, feel free to join in. And you bring it around to as tight as you want. Please don't give yourself a headache. Place it to where you want. I like to cover a lot of my forehead because, as I was saying, my nickname to my family was headquarters. It's shocking, but I got through it, but they said my forehead is huge. So I have the tendency, and I don't care because I tell them that that's where all my brains are at. So I have the tendency to pull it back a little bit. And then once you get it to where you want, one of the other styles that I wanted to show you guys is you can bring the 2 ends together and just cross them. So when you see, and it's all about the tuck, you're going to bring it around and you'll see how, oh, it looks like we're going to bed and we have a bonnet on, right? So once you get it tied back there, you begin to tuck. So if you don't like how this part looks, you want to just tuck it in. It's going to stay. And then you want to tuck the back in so that's not hanging down. And then instead of just having the knot in the back, at least you have somewhat of a crown. And if you don't like the material, just tuck it in. If you want your hairline to show a tiny bit, you can always push it back. The camera is giving me a weird angle, but a trick I learned is that you can double up. So if your hair is short like mine, you may want something larger. So then I have a second piece of material and you just wrap it right on top. And if you want to, when I say versatility, you can either just go with the colorful one on the bottom, you can put a solid one on top, and you're going to start from the back. So it's just laying straight. And then you're going to bring it up, cross it again. So a lot of times when you see people with a bigger, when you have a lot of hair, the hair will help you. But if you don't, then you just use the material to your advantage. The more material you have, the bigger your wrap will be. And I'm tucking, the gift of the tuck. So I tuck it all around. I make it look like I want it to look. You may not know that it's 2 under there, but it's giving me more volume, right? And if you want to, I'm all about style. Like I like colors, I like dressing up. So I would wrap differently. I would bring that back and I would leave that open so that you get both of my wraps. So that you know that there's something under there. So if you want to expose it in that way, you could do so many different things with it. I'm gonna do a quick run through of the one that doesn't have as much give. So I'm gonna show you why.
Christy, do you also want to pay attention to fabric in terms of if it makes your head warm or it holds in heat or not, and sort of seasonal?
Yes. So the two that I just had are very hot.
Okay.
So definitely. So in the summer, all of them are going to be kind of warm simply because you have something on your head.
Right.
So in the summertime, I use a lighter fabric, but you can wrap it exactly the same, no matter what kind. What I did see was that you could even use scarves,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that we use as a shawl.
Mm-hmm.
You could use them to wrap your hair the same exact way. All it is material. You don't have to go out and buy expensive material if you don't want to. You can go to your local Walmart and just ask them for material. That's simply what it is.
Yeah.
And
I
then
even meant
that's
like,
how
I'm
I
thinking like a
started.
Joanne fabric kind of thing. You could
Yes.
just go and yeah, and you have so many options there.
Yes, and even if it's not, it doesn't have to be sewed at the ends or anything, because you're gonna wrap it, you're gonna
Yeah.
tuck it. So no one will ever know. So the least expensive way to do it is to go into a material store, whatever's close by you. You may have, I love scarves, so I have the tendency to use my scarf.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever knows. So when you have something else that's a little stiffer and it doesn't give that stretch, it's gonna sit differently. So I have the tendency to fold the top of mine. I'm gonna do this one different. I'm gonna give you the knot on the side. And if you want straight lines, you want to, I usually get 12 inches just because you wanna make sure you have enough. It's better to have more than less, because then you won't be able, I'm reading the chat at the same time.
Christy, I was gonna say, did you see that question? That's a great
Yes.
question.
How much? Yes.
Yeah.
So I usually go 12 inches. And then what you can do is you can measure by arm length. I'm gonna back up so you can see it a little bit. If you take both of your arms and you go like this, you want it the spans of both the width of your arms.
Oh.
It's always better to have more than to have less, because if I leave the store with only this much, that's all I'm going to be able to do.
Yeah.
And I won't get the full wrap because, you know, let my family tell you, my head is on the larger side of things. So I like more material. So when we do these, which I think everybody sees, so I like to leave mine this way. It gives me the sense of hair draping down like Rapunzel. So it's all about that. Like you can have it back here, but I love to have stuff that's dangling down so you don't have to tie it up. And you could just leave it there. And then you have your back. This is just a regular twist in the back.
Blake, you want some chili dip?
And then if you want to twist it, you can leave one side down.
I'm gonna offer.
I want some chili dip. You could twist it. It's all about the twist. And then you just bring it around to give it a different style if you don't want flat. And then again, it's all about the tuck again.
Yeah.
Tuck it where it won't move, but you don't want to cut off your circulation.
I love that. That's so pretty.
want a
I've
headache.
seen that. Yeah, I love that.
So then you can leave it like that. And if you don't want it on your back and it's hot, then you just twist the other side and you bring it the opposite direction. And you bring it, well, I brought it the same direction. And then you have 2 rows. And again, it's all about the tuck. And then you just tuck it in there. So those are our wraps. And then for me, when I'm home sometimes with my son, and I just, instead of wearing a bonnet, I'll wrap my hair up. And if I go to the supermarket, if I'm hanging out with my girlfriends, I put my earrings on. What I find, I don't have them on today, if you have like longer earrings, it will accentuate a little bit more. So that's my tell about wraps. So unless anyone have questions, we're gonna dive into wigs.
I love that. Yeah. Does anyone else have questions?
Hi, this is Beverly.
Hi, Beverly. Oh, yes. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Thanks for hopping on. So this might be a really great stopping point. Christy, do you mind if we bring Beverly on? Because Beverly, I know Melissa shared really wonderful information about the work that you do with wigs, which I think is a really nice stopping point before we get into our demo with Christy.
Yes.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say also about the wraps, I have bought riblets from Joann's.
Mm-hmm.
When they get to the end of a bolt, they usually take whatever is left off and they put them in stacks and they'll sell the stack. And I have taken riblets and made hair bands and all kinds of stuff with it.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that. So why don't you share a little bit about the work that you do with wigs and how we can get connected with you?
I started doing this back, I would say about 20 years ago.
Okay.
When I discovered that some friends of mine had cancer, and actually, I started with my mother. My mother had cancer, and she lost all her long, beautiful flowing hair. And she would cry all the time. And I was in my teens, so I'd go out and buy a wig for her to wear. And then my father was in the military, he was doing 27 years in the military. So when Daddy would come home, Mother would have on a wig, and he used to tell her, you don't have to put on a wig. But then we started making a game out of it. We would take wigs, and I would take all the dye out of the wig, and then she and I would color the wig using Kool-Aid. So when Daddy came home, we would have purple wigs on. She and I running around the house in purple wigs. We would have pink wigs on. We would have any color that a Kool-Aid will give you. Sometimes we mix up colors and have all kinds of rainbow colors.
Yeah.
That's how I started looking at it as being something that that women with cancer needed, that type of feeling beauty.
Right, why we're here tonight, yeah.
Yes. So while I was in Tucson, Arizona, working with the DAV out there, we got together and we started bringing wigs in, and we started redoing the wigs, restoring them so that you can wear them. Now, this I have on is not a restored wig.
Okay.
Okay, just to let you know, it's not a restored wig. Okay. It is a wig though, but it's one that I bought myself.
Okay.
And so we started collecting wigs from all walks of life used to bring with. We wound up with almost 1,000 wigs when we finally put it out there. And it was me, I'm not a cosmetologist, but we took a class. Our commander on our base didn't know what to do with the women. So they asked us what we wanted. And we told them we wanted to figure out how to restore wigs. So he found somebody who would teach us how to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So we started restoring wigs for cancer patients in the VA hospitals and places, since we supported VA hospitals.
Okay.
We, in some cases, we even had some men's wigs.
Oh.
But what I did is when I moved here to Maryland, I forgot I had 50 wigs in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
So I started restoring a couple of them. And I said, well, let me see if there's anybody else out there who wants to donate wigs. So in my local newsletter, which is next door, I put in there that anyone who has any old wigs they want to donate to cancer patients, please let me know or bring them by the house. The first week I wound up with 75 wigs.
Wow.
It got to the point where I had to put a bin outside because they were bringing them, dropping them by every night.
Okay.
Right now, I've counted, and I have about 600 wigs.
Wow.
I've restored quite a few of them,
Okay.
and I put them inside these what I call the cocoon shape, so that they would keep their shape, and nets over them. But the longer they sit, the more they get out. So I have to restore them again.
Okay.
Okay. But let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can.
And I was going to say, if anyone here is interested in learning a little bit more about how they could obtain a restored wig, or if they have those that they want to donate, is there some contact information? Yeah, like we have a question, do you still take wigs? She's got a box full to donate. So is there some contact information that we could provide, Beverly?
Yes. My address is 80.
Well, why don't we share your email address, and we can have those that reach out to you on, on an individual basis. Does that sound okay?
That'll sound okay. The email address is ILUV for love. I love donating wigs with an S on the end.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Perfect. And so if anyone is interested in obtaining a restored wig or donating, like we've had someone in the chat, they can connect to you individually. Because I think that that's really a wonderful service that you're doing, and a great way to kind of reuse wigs that, you know, have helped someone but are looking to kind of move it forward and help others.
Well, I have had people mail me wigs as far as Florida.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
I did about 25 or 40 wigs in the last 3 months. Wow. And I couldn't get anyone here, so I shipped them to the ladies in Arizona to give out to some of the cancer patients out there.
Wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I know we have a ton of interest. We have a couple people that are interested in the chat that either are interested in looking to obtain a wig from you, or across the country, or donating some to you. So I'm glad you were able to join us and just share a little bit about the work that you do, because I think that's super unique, and we're always looking for resources and connections. So I dropped your email in the chat, Beverly, and I'll make sure to drop that in before we wrap up this evening.
But there's one more thing I must point out. The wigs have to be personalized.
Yeah.
If you don't have hair, I have to remove the combs in them.
Okay.
And put elastic from ear to ear around the back so it'll fit on your head.
Okay.
If you have hair and it's only in the front and in the back, then I would leave those combs in there and remove the ones on the side. And vice versa for whatever. So you have to tell me what color wig you want, how long you want it, your head size, and where your hair is, if you have any.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, that's wonderful. So we did have a question. So Christy, actually very curious, are they human hair wigs? Is it a mix? Does it depend on what kind you get donated to you?
It depends on what kind I get donated. I have human hair, I have synthetic,
okay,
and I have what they call matted hair,
okay,
for bushes and things like that.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. What a great service that you provide. So I think there's a lot of interest. And I think, you know, so much of our community is looking for more resources and programs and places to go for wigs. So I think that this is really helpful. So we appreciate your time this evening, Beverly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. So again, I'll drop your email in the chat before we wrap up, and we're also recording this evening, so we'll be able to share this on our library.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Beverly.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, so good. And I'm glad she mentioned, I know, Christy, you and I had chatted a little bit about the different types of wigs. So I'm glad that Beverly mentioned that as well. And maybe that's a good place to start as we kind of move into this segment with you, because I'm very curious to learn a little bit about the types that are out there.
Yes, that's awesome. That's why I was asking, because hi, Miss Beverly, and thank you. When she started talking about the coloring, I always question if you can do that with synthetic hair. I will be honest and say I wear a lot of synthetic wigs and the blends, which is human hair and synthetic blend. With the human and synthetic, which I'll refer to as the blend, you can do more with. You can add heat to it. You can straighten them. You can curl some of them. You can do more with the blend than you can do synthetic. Synthetic, in my opinion, is where it's more plastic. You cannot add heat. Now, recently, they've, I guess, updated the synthetic wigs where you can add heat to them as well. When you buy them, it'll tell you on the package exactly how much heat you can have and add to them, be it synthetic or not. But human hair is more versatile. Everything that you do to your hair, you can do to a human hair wig. However, human hair wigs are more expensive. And if you're just starting out, it would be my recommendation or suggestion that you start with either synthetic or synthetic blend so that you can get comfortable with what you like. So spend less money until you find the color you like, the style you like. Once you have it and you've owned it and made it yours, then you can venture over to human. The other thing is you can't really mess up human hair. Just don't start cutting it, right? Because then we can't fix that. But you can't really mess up human hair. You can style it, you shampoo it. Although it's more expensive, it will last you probably a lifetime if you take care of it properly. You would take care of your human wig the same way that you would take care of your natural hair. So you can shampoo it, you can deep condition it, you can curl it, you can style it, you can go, if you don't have the ability to do that or the patience, you can go to a salon and have it installed.
I was going to ask you that if that's something that you could bring to a hairstylist and have them cut or style, and yes, so that it really creates the look that you are going for.
Yes, it accentuates who you are. Yeah. So if you're used to wearing your hair a certain way, and they'll style your synthetic wig as well, or the blend. So you go to them, you tell them that you want it styled. Because so many people are into wearing wigs, it's not that expensive. It's more expensive to get your hair cut, colored, or whatever else you may want to do naturally than it is for them to install it. The only thing that would be a little expensive is if you do have hair. Then they will, underneath your wig, they will like cornrow your hair or style it in a way, or just have it under what we call wig cap, which leads to my next thing. So let me get to the items, right? And I'll drop some of the websites that I use as well. So for me, protection is good. So I have a picture of a wig cap, not to be confused with a wave cap that men wear, because they are tighter and they'll stress like the edges of your hair and actually give you a headache. So they have wig caps. I just wanted to give you the picture of it. A lot of stuff that I'm going to share with you today, you can find on Amazon. I am an Amazon-aholic. So I do everything on Amazon, especially because I'm Amazon Prime. You can, that's long, but if you just click on it, it'll send you right to Amazon. And that's for the caps. My sisters wear wigs as well. I'm the only one in the family that actually had breast cancer, but we all love wearing wigs. Versatility, right? Yeah. So the wig cap, I have a brown one here. I would say by your complexion, the scalp. So people usually get black. I don't buy black anymore. I showed you black only because it's in the package. But they have tan, they have lighter ones. But for Black women that may be on the call, I'm gonna say don't buy black. My hair is black. My scalp is not. So
Right.
I buy brown because it gives me a more natural feeling. So I have both of those in the chat now. And what I'll do is I'll put my stocking on first. I'm here to show you, right? Let me give you the second one I have. It's a net. So when you talk about the wraps, Erin, and you asked about your head being hot, this is net. So it's breathable.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is my favorite because I have a hole somewhere in there. But my sister, and it doesn't have a thinner band, so it doesn't stress your edges as much. And then if you have hair, it's awesome because you can put Barbie pins in there. So this is my go-to.
When you say stress the edges, what does that mean?
So I'm gonna get as close as I can. See this
Okay.
here?
Mm-hmm.
So especially for Black women, we experience it a lot. Our hair, if you have too much pressure and pulling on your edges, it would pull it out.
Okay. You mean your
So-
actual hairline?
Yes, your hairline. So
Got it.
doing this, we always bring it back. You don't want anything that's gonna be so tight that it gives you a headache.
Okay.
Which is the same thing with the wig when I show you about tightening it. You don't want a headache. Nobody wants a headache. I would never wear a wig if I had to have a headache all day. So with the wig cap, the line, the edges is a little thicker.
Mhm.
But again, because wigs are the new thing, they've decided to make it more stretchy so it
Mhm.
doesn't do that. But it's all about what you prefer. So I generally do the net, and I had a little bit more hair before now. So what I would ideally do is braid my hair down or just pull it back, put it on, and then these little pins, I'm gonna show you in a second, the stick pins. Can you see that?
Yes. Yep.
That's an awkward view. It helps to hold your wig. So for me, as survivors, you don't want to put necessarily glue. That's how they bond the wigs. You don't take them off until you're ready. You can go swimming with it, with the glue and everything else. What I'm telling you here today, please don't go swimming because your wig may be in the pool behind you. It's not bonded. It's just there so that you can come home and take it off when you want to.
Yeah.
So I also, as added protection for my edges, because we all want our edges, I wear a grip. It also secures my wig so it doesn't feel like it's gonna blow off on a windy day.
Oh.
All it is a strap, has Velcro in the back. And it's just for my edges, it protects it. So ideally, you don't need this. I wear both because I have OCD and I don't want my wig to fly off. So ideally, you would take it and put it right where your hairline is at. There's Velcro. They tell us to wear the Velcro in the front. I do not because it gives me a bump and I want my wig to look as natural as possible. You want to come outside and have people say, oh my God, your hair is beautiful. I went for a mammogram and the radiologist, she thought the wig was my hair. I'm gonna show you it. That's why it's my go-to. So wear the wig and own it like it's yours. So I can go like this without the cap, because you may not like either one of them, and that's okay.
Is that like a what kind of material is the grip? Is that like a
mesh.
velvet?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
It's definitely like Velcro.
Like a velvet or something. Yeah.
Yes.
I can see how that would work really well with kind of holding things in place.
It's
And it's
a
probably very
non-slip.
comfortable. Yeah.
Sometimes I forget I have it on.
Yeah.
Did I drop that one? I did not. I'm going to drop it now so that you can find, again, Amazon is going to be our best friend, right?
You're usually velour.
Velour. Okay.
Velour, yeah.
I always do that. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. I appreciate it. I'm also going to give you in the chat if you want to. I don't know. I don't use these mannequins a lot. I hang them, my wigs in the closet. But I do have the foam heads, but this is my Beyonce. I brought a pink
love it.
mannequin just for us. And this is my go-to. So let's have fun. So this
Do
is
you
my
recommend-
go-to wig.
Do you
Good.
recommend storing the wigs on a stand, on something? Is that really important in terms of when you're not wearing them?
For me, it is. It keeps, this one is curly.
Yeah.
It's not straight. It keeps the style and the shape of it, but also it could, after a while, acquire like a smell.
Okay.
If you don't hang it up. So it's almost
Okay.
like a towel. So you want to keep it fresh and breathable, and you don't,
Mhm.
nobody wants to walk around with a smelly wig on.
Mhm.
So, and remember, you're sweating under there. So when you come home and I hang it, like I have hooks on the back of my closet door, the same way ones we use for the robe, and
Yeah.
I hang it right there. Now,
Good.
when you have guests, it may shock them a little bit, but they'll be okay. So when I
They
open
come
my
out
closet
wearing your
door,
wig, and it's like,
it's hanging up there. So, but, and then I don't, that's important to know too, like I don't take baths and showers and stuff with my wig on. I always take it off.
okay.
So, Wigs 101. This has lace. I cut it off. That's another thing. You can see the brown, right?
Mhm.
You
Yes.
see the combs that Miss Beverly was talking about
Yes.
here? So I'm gonna push her inside out so you can actually see it.
Mhm.
So in this one, I actually put makeup there. It doesn't come that brown. So if you don't like the color of the lace, use your foundation to blend it in.
Okay.
So then it looks like your scalp. These
Okay.
combs that she was talking about, they could be annoying. They don't bother me, but they bother a lot of people. So when she said if you have hair, she can put the combs in, it'll hold tighter. But I don't like it. It gives me a headache. So I never use the combs. And if you have time and you don't mind, they're stitched in there. If it bothers you, get a seam ripper or a scissor and cut them out.
Okay.
There's also elastic on the bottom. So they're every head friendly, right? So where my
Ah.
family likes to call me headquarters, I can't wear a small wig. It's gonna give me a headache. But that's what these little elastic bands are for. It's like bra straps, honestly.
Mhm.
And then and it's little clips on the bottom sewed on it, but you can adjust it to how you
Yeah.
want it.
Got it.
So if it's too tight, you feel like it's loose, tighten it up. And most of the time we need to tighten them. That's why sometimes we come outside and we give wig. We don't want to give wig.
Okay.
So then I just slap my wig on. So it's my favorite part.
I feel like this is the big reveal.
Yes, right. I'm gonna look like a whole nother person, right? Which men tell me all the time. Oh my God, I had no idea it was you. So, and then I flip back, right? So this is how you usually see me on Unite for her, right?
Yeah.
So my sister was so mad at me. I came to her house one day like this, and she was so upset. Why is your wig on your forehead like that? She told me, right? So now you can see, to me, this gives wig.
Okay.
So she said, pull your wig back, Christy.
To your
like
natural
Polly. I can
hairline.
see her face and she's like, oh, no wonder, right? But yes, because we slap it on, we put it all the way up here, and then we just go outside, and then it looks a little weird. We're hoping that people don't think we look weird, but if you feel like you look weird in the mirror, you probably look a little weird. So just pull it back to your hairline.
Yeah.
Even if you want to pull it back a little bit until you can actually see
Mhm.
your hairline,
Mhm.
because it gives it natural. Then you can fix your part. Because I'm traumatized by my sisters, I had the tendency not to do this. I do have a part there. Let me get my angle right. Right.
We can see your part, like a side part. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. I'm always so you pull it all the way back there, adjust it in the back. You'll feel the difference. It should not be sitting up in the back where your ears are at. Pull it all the way down because then
Okay.
the fit grips a little bit more. And then you decide where you want it. I like my bang. I gotta act like I'm in the mirror. My earpieces, I cut it did have lace all around it. I don't do glue, I don't do spray. I cut it as close to the hair as possible. This is a synthetic and human hair blend wig.
Mhm.
So if you cut a little bit more of the wig, it's perfectly fine. You'll get a little shedding, but you'll look more natural.
Okay.
So I cut all that lace off. If you
What is the
can't-
point of the lace?
The lace is to give you a more natural look. Some people actually like Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia, and you may want to have more hair to give you edges if you don't have
Oh.
edges.
Yes. Yep.
And the lace is there, you can glue it down and it gives you a more natural hairline.
Got it.
It's itchy, it's annoying to me. That's just my personal opinion. So I go and I cut it all off, all of it.
I have a question
Sure.
for you. I've been wearing wigs. I love them. It really helped my confidence. My medication that I'm on, Versatility, was making me lose a lot of my hair. I have lost a lot. And the problem is those clips are where there's no hair. So they're digging in to nothing. They're really not whole, but the little baby hairs that they're pulling. And then all the lace, I keep trying to get, these wigs, the ones I've seen, first one I had was over $300. Another one was $300. And it was like, then I found some that were less money, but still as cute. And the lace front, I thought was what you really lace front, but they're not soft. And when you cut them, then they pinch and they pinch and they pinch and they itch. And I love the way it looks when I feel so pretty when I have it on. Oh my God, do I love it? And I get so many compliments, but I can't stand that itchy thing. So I tried, is there Vaseline or is there something? How do you soften that pinchy thing after you cut it the way you want it? What do you use to soften the thing?
In my experience, it depends on the type of wig. So that's a pet peeve of mine as well. From my experience, there is no fixing it. It all is about the company that you use. So I tend to try, it's like trial and error, not for $300 though. The human hair wig should have softer nets underneath.
It wasn't even human. It wasn't even human hair, and it was $300.
Yes.
And I went to a place that's called Lovely You, and it was just for women and they gave you a 10% discount if you had breast cancer. And it was my first experience buying a wig. So I didn't really know.
Wow. Yes, they have a lot of companies that will do that. So two things to even share with, I think someone dropped in the chat about, I think I lost you.
PaulaYoung.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
PaulaYoung.com.
Yep.
What is that?
Inexpensive, really nice quality wigs. And they have some that are heat stylable. They have some that are already styled. They have some human hair ones. I've personally have never bought the human hair ones. All of mine are synthetic, but it's allowed, because you can get them on sale and stuff. It's allowed me to have literally dozens of wigs. I have them on forms, on bookcases in my bedroom, and I just think about my mood and what I'm wearing, and I can pick and choose whatever I want. And they go from short and spiky to, I don't have anything longer than chin length because I have a really long face. So I don't look good with really long hair. So mine are, the longest is chin length, and I have all kinds of colors and styles and rooted colors, and it has really freed up my I don't want to say it's self-confidence, but it has helped that. But it's freed up my ability to feel okay about not having hair.
Yes, I dropped, I agree wholeheartedly, and I dropped some wig websites, and I see Cynthia agrees, she used Ebony Line, before, and Glorious Trust,
Glamour Trust?
Yes, she used, that's the one I missed, but they're less expensive. The only thing to caution you about when you buy them online, the return policy may not be the best. I don't have the tendency to return wigs, because that's why I buy cheaper wigs, because I wouldn't want anyone to try a wig on, send it back, and I get the one that they had. So hygiene purposes, just my own OCD leads me in that direction. But I also found in my journey of finding a wig that for Black women, it's difficult for us to find websites that have wigs like our hair texture. The one I have on now is definitely not my hair texture, but I like it nonetheless, right? Because I'm gonna own it like it's mine. And it doesn't have to be our skin texture, but when you're buying online, you wanna see it on someone who looks like you or who you can see yourself in. So I dropped a few. It's not just for Black women, but you can find any kind of wig. It's wig types, it's Ebony Line, there's Sam's Beauty, there's Diva Tress. If you have access to a beauty supply store, they will let you try on the wig. So sometimes you may have to ask. As long as you have a wig cap, they will let you try on the wig. They will give you one for like $1 or $2. They're not that expensive. I tend to bring my own, or if I go in with a wig, I take my wig off and try. That way, and try on as many as possible until you like what you see in the mirror. And to answer also, what can you do about that lace that's itchy and irritating? That's where your wig cap comes in. If you have this on first, you don't feel that. If you wear the band, because I guess I could take my Beyonce off, right? So if you have the band on, the part that they cut off, I forget who asked the question, but you see the band that I have on, you won't feel it. You won't feel it around laying, because it's not on your skin, it's laying on the band.
Okay.
So even if you wear the cap, the inside, because the entire wig is that material. So you don't, especially if you don't have hair there, you don't want to feel it. So uncomfortable. So buy a wig cap, not the mesh one necessarily. And then you can get the Velcro band. I dropped those in the chat as well. I know I ran over and I do apologize, but if anybody has other questions, please let me know.
Yeah,
I'll
feel
drop my
free to
contact
ask.
information as well.
Please, this has been so helpful. And certainly if anyone has any other questions or references they want to share.
Can I just say one more thing, Erin, before I close
absolutely
out?
Oh yeah.
I dropped my website as well. You'll see a lot of poetry stuff. But I just wanted to leave us, so the women, with positive affirmations. And I think that helps before we put any kind of anything, be it a hat, a wrap, or a wig on our heads. Being you and owning it is the most important thing that I would like to say this evening. More important than anything else. It took me 43 years to own and come out in my natural beauty. I work for the Teachers Union. It's still difficult for me to show up in spaces with my hair the way it is today. But I never forget who I am on the inside. So I walk in confidence no matter what room I walk into, and I own it, right? So my positive affirmations, and if any of you wanted to jump in and drop in the chat any I ams to seal the deal for today. Some of mine is I am woman, and I like to end that with hear me roar. I am beautiful inside and out. Be you no matter what. I am powerful. I am all encompassing. And my very favorite, I have cancer, but cancer does not have me. So I just wanted to leave us with positive affirmations before we close out.
I love that. I love that. I think everything you shared, and sort of, I think the message above all is just like sharing your confidence and owning it, and taking pride in everyone's own beauty, I mean, rings very clear and true this evening.